Strategic self-governance. I think it has three words. I'm not here to define all the three words, um, but it has the totality. Strategic self-governance. We are known for the governance, time immemorial, ancient India, and also the medieval India, modern India. The modern India, the ancient India ruled by the so-called, because Tamil Nadu is always known for Chera Chola Pandiyargal. And even from the North India, the Mauryas and also the Guptas. So that is why the governance again, the ancient India, which drives to some some centuries. But when it comes to self-governance, the term self-governance, it meant the village republics, unless it is documented during the ancient Indian literature, because ancient Indian literature, predominantly all the literature documented on the rocks, and soon we evolved in writing it in the palm leaves, and only in the modern times we started using the papers. So the modern literature, the modern historical literature would have stated capturing data from the inscription, from the wall, and also from the written, what is written on the palm leaves. So these two factors are very much into my mind. What is self governance? Do we have really the history? That is why very important, the modern civilization, so called the ultra modern civilization, most of the developed countries, those developed countries, do they have a tradition, and whether that tradition really date back to some 1000 2000 centuries, or rather years back. But India really, because we should be proud of that, how India is enriched and how we were ruled. That is the term self governance meant. The term strategic, because when it is strategic, ultimately it should have a long term orientation, and it should fulfill the vision as such. So in my day to day morning, when I go for a walk, or I used to cycle, but regularly when I go for a walk, one day I was finding one old man. I used to see him on a regular basis, maybe 90 plus actually. But on that day, I couldn't find along with his wife, and he was alone. So I was much curious. Every day I was actually expecting to interact with that old man. So since his wife is besides him during the walk, I don't want to disturb as a couple, and both are 90 plus, and it shows. That's where I'm trying to come into. So when he was walking, I had a curiosity to ask about his age. He said, "I'm 90 plus." Oh, it's very nice at 90 plus. And the other one, I just want to ask. I could see that you are walking on a barefoot, because we ultra modern generation, maybe this generation also, we always prefer a branded shoe and a branded a t-shirt and a shorts, actually whatever, to go for a morning walk or any fitness activity. So I was finding it very unusual. You're walking, yourself and your wife are walking in a barefoot. Then he immediately said, "Can you find a shoe some 70 years before when I was actually growing?" So I'm walking from time immemorial, since when I was actually from a child, we are all walking. Now, only for the fitness we are walking, that's a different story. But the barefoot gives me the feel of the soil. And when I feel the soil, I could feel the sensitivity of the soil, whether it's a dry, wet, or it has minerals, or it's really enriched soil, or a dry soil, what kind of a soil it is. So my barefoot senses the soil. So then the curiosity extended, because always when someone defines, oh, someone is feeling the soil. It is not the sense of soil, actually, I'm trying to state. Anywhere when we are in the barefoot, we used to feel the soil. And the same way, then my next question, I just want to ask, where is he from? So I got connected, and he stated, I was asking his name Krishna Swami. Oh, sir, where you hail from? Where is your native? He said to me instantly, I belong to Uttaramerur. Oh, Uttaramerur. That's where this connect of self-governance also even I had. because the ancient literature, because the ancient literature has described so many things, but the concept of village republic, that's very important, because when I say republic, many do not know what is a republic. We always go by the definition during our school days. We, the people of India, or we, by be the for the people, by the people, of the people. See, this is a standard definition I always seen myself or experienced during my school days. But the republic, again, the standard definition is again the head of the state, the head of the here state, again the president of India or a president of any country. When they are elected, directly or indirectly, that country is considered to be the republic. So we know that we got republic in 1950. That's why we celebrate 26th Jan 1950. We have our own reasons, but I'm not getting into it. So now the concept of village republic, that is where the concept where it talks about self-governance. So I stated Uttaramerur. So he defined, Uttaramerur, though I've read. Suppose many things we are reading in our life, but have we experienced whatever we have read in our life? It's very, very few. I know very well. We have, we have actually voted in the democracy. When we have voted in the democracy, the Constitution provides a constitutional right. It's not a fundamental right; it's a constitutional right. Article 326. The Article 326 of the Indian Constitution, when it provides your right to vote, when you have attained the age of 18, because previously it was 21, by an amendment it was made 18. So when someone at the 18, at the teen, at the later teen, you are given the opportunity of voting, what will be your choice? That is the question. And whether you are aware of the electoral dynamics, that's a second topic. But here, when that old man, Mr. Krishna Swami, Sri Krishna Swami, Thiru Krishna Swami, he stated, Uttaramerur. You know what is special about it? I've read, but he is defining. In my village, he is telling again, it's again a civilized village. The term used again, because when we say village, we always say a remote village or the village which is very backward. But he defined it so much, and the description itself has qualified, stating that a democratic again, the village again, the civilized village, and the village republic. In our Uttaramerur, we have one inscription, Uttaramerur inscription. That's the inscription which date backs that how the India, especially the South India, and also the Chera Chola Pandyargal and Pallavas of the Kanchipuram region, which is where the Uttaramerur, which is very, very, I think from Chennai, it's again far away from, it's a little far away, at least around some 80 kilometers. Even you can, anyone who visits again Chennai, Tamil Nadu, Chennai, they can make it and visualize the Uttaramerur inscription. So he is stating this Uttaramerur inscription has talked about Kudavolai system. What is meant by this Kudavolai system? That means village republics. This village republic is a concept that the village community, because we live as a community in the villages, and many do not know, when Gandhiji stated that the India lives in the villages, it's not talking about only the rural segment. Kudavolai system, that the people, the village community people, because every village is a republic, they try to elect their own head. And that is how we are, when it's said village republic, we are also indirectly voting to elect the president of India. The same way, the village republic, the village heads, are elected by the village community people. This village community people have given the franchisee, that's again the adult franchisee, or what type of franchisee, that is again described. But the village, every villager, it is not discriminated female or male. It is not discriminated whether the upper caste or the lower caste. It is given the equal opportunity of all the people who live in the village community to elect the village head. That is where it is dating back. And this concept of self-governance, really, we do not know how we have derived this village republic, and many have qualified the village republics in Tamil Nadu, that too in the South India, and the India, which is enriched the Indian identity. And when I say Indian identity, it's very important. What is Indian identity? Because the concept of decentralized democratics, or rather decentralized administration, very important. The Chennai, That's we call it as the it dates back to the British India. We call it as Madras. The Madras again, Lord Ripon. So Lord Ripon again, you would have seen Ripon building. That's next to the Chennai railway station. That's a very momentous building. You can see, and anyone who comes to Chennai can witness the Ripon building. He is again the father of the local. That's again local self government. When I said local self government, it is nothing but the urban government, which we call it as now in modern terms. We are calling it as municipal corporation. That is our the municipalities. When the Ripon Resolution in the year 1882, which dates back to the urban local government, the urban local governments which has become the model for the entire India, not only for the Madras presidency, the Madras provinces or the Madras presidency. We have become the role model. This Ripon's idea of creating a local self government. I don't know. I remember very important. Always there is a say, when we are not in the right track, what is the use of running? That is where the agenda, the self government or rather self governance concept, which is embedded into the Indian system, the Indian political system, and also in the Indian village system, that has actually traversed and become the model of India also. And remember, when every country decolonized during 1947, and along with us, we know the Pakistan also. Remember, India opted because we are part of Commonwealth. When we remain part of Commonwealth, the condition again, the head of the state, where the Queen will be the head of the state. But we tend to deviate from the Commonwealth model and stated that we will elect our head of the state. That means we will have an elected president, directly or indirectly. That is where this concept has emanated, not just like that. The people have visualized when they drafted the Indian constitution, they have visualized that this visual is creating an architecture for a greater democracy and a decentralized democracy. Though Article 40 has defined that how the village panchayat, but very important, this sustained self governance concept, of course, now it's very important because when we say governance, self governance, it requires more of a self discipline, not enforcing discipline on someone. Because when the discipline is enforced on someone, then it becomes nuisance for everyone. But when we say self discipline, the concept of self discipline, the same concept which was taken for the self governance also, that is why during the year 1990 to 93, when we created by the 73rd, 74th Amendment of the Indian Constitution, creating, very important, creating Part 11, especially the Schedule 11 and Schedule 12, which described about the village panchayat. This village panchayat, nothing but, as I stated, every day morning, when I was walking with that old man, in the sense I was interacting with that old man, Krishna Swami, he stated that Uttaramerur, which has inscribed that Kudavolai system, every village living again, that's especially the qualified living human being, has the power to elect the village head. The same concept was taken and it was implanted in the Indian Constitution, 73rd, the village panchayat. Every village panchayat, it will govern itself. When I said self-discipline, the self-governance, what is a self-discipline? We all are dependent on someone in terms of the expenditure. When I earn myself, I decide my expenditure. When a self-governance model created in India, very important, even during the ancient Indian period, the Indian democracy was very clear in its agenda because when the Lord Ripon statement in 1882, modeled after Madras Local Fund Act 1884, it has stated district boards, taluk boards, and the village communities, because village communities, those village communities becomes the part of the taluk board and also the district boards. But very important, if a village republic not given the opportunity of the taxation here meant to mobilize its revenue and to increase its expenditure, that is where the true democracy stands. And the Indian model has proved, historically, we have proved from the ancient time that we were uh, we were exploring to collect taxes from the own village from various activities. It's not a simple activity like only the farming. That means village had a lot of trading activity, village had a lot of professionalism, village had a lot of again the logistics, and village had again the people entering inside the village and going out of the village. That is where we say Pumbuhar or Pattinam. These are all the village name itself says that it's a trading village. Same way here, we tend to state that every village were given the model to earn its own revenue by way of taxation, non-taxation, and based on that, they could democratize. This is where the democracy, where the strategic self-governance. So strategic self-governance, nothing that we could able to revenue, mobilize revenue for ourselves, and we could able to dispense with that revenue, dispense all the socialistic principle to reach each and every individual of that village community. And this is the agenda where I always say, now getting back to the old man who sensed the soil by his fair foot on his day-to-day walking, the same way I felt the village community or the village republics, what is stated in the Uttarumeru inscription, that these village communities and these village republics mobilize its resources, governed itself. This mobilizing resources, governing itself, it's called strategic. So the strategic component were constitutionalizing the village republics in the form of village panchayat in Article 243, because it's stating that Article 243 defines Gram Panchayat. These Gram Panchayat, it's very important, not only the taxation. When the village could able to govern, they governed even the judicial issues also, except criminal. So we had Nyaya Panchayats. We are not aware of it. That is why old people, the wisdom people, they sat under the big banyan tree and sought after that to dispense the justice also. When we have dispensed the justice by the self-discipline procedure, we say we are really strategic, self-governant, self-governant democracy in the India. So the village republics, as I stated, we are fulfilling and living as a role model to entire developed countries, and developed countries we live the best.